Now I'm going to remove the OSPF process of my routers and enable RIP on them and see the RIP authentication. But before that, I'm going to have another piece of verification command here to show IP OSPF interface fast00. Now that I have used authentication under OSPF process, again you can see that this tells me message digest authentication is enabled and the key number is 1, and there is no difference between using authentication under interface or under router process. You just tell that if you use authentication under router process, any interface that is going to be added in future, it should have authentication key again, and this is an area-wide, configuration. Okay, now I'm going to enable a RIP on my interfaces. So I go to enable mode, I go to configuration mode, I remove the OSPF process number 1 and add router RIP process here. I disable the auto summary, I use version 2, and again I choose to add network 10.0.0.0 for router process. Okay, I hit enter, and that's okay for now. I control C everything, copy everything, and go to paste it on router. So router 1, router 2, router 3, and router 4. I change the configuration, and after a while I'm going to check the routing table and see if I have RIP routes in my routing table. Show IP route. Now you can see that RIP is populated and I have routing table full of RIP routes. Okay. Now I am going to see which routes I am receiving from router 2, for example. So I do debug IP RIP and hit enter, and you can see the RIP protocol debugging is on. And after a while you should see the updates going out my interface and coming in my interface, and this is going to be some updates that go and come from router 1. I'm interested in the interface routes that you can see I'm receiving from router 2 on fast Ethernet 0.0 interface. Okay, now I undebug everything first and start adding authentication under fast 0.0. So you should know that on RIP we need to have keychains to have authentication enabled. So I should define a keychain first. A keychain is defined using the keychain command, and I should provide a name. For example, RIP in capital is the name of the keychain that I am providing here. And now I should add a key number, and this is very important to be the same on both routers. You should have the key number the same on both routers. You can see that I can have a very long list of key names. I'm going to use key number 1, and if I use key number 1 here, I should use key number 1 on router 2 as well, because if I choose another key number, the authentication will fail. Okay, I'm not going to test this. You can test it for yourself. I hit enter, and now I should add a key string. That is the key that I'm going to use here. And remember, anything you type in, even a space, is considered as your password. So if I type in Cisco and press space key, my password would be Cisco space and not Cisco only. So I should be exact in typing the key string here. So I hit enter. So I have a key right now. I exit and again exit, and now using the do show keychain command, you can see that my keychain has password exactly as I typed in, and there is no space in between or after the password that I had here. And space is a valid character for password, but remember that if you type it in, you may, make mistakes in typing in other routers. Okay, now that I have this enabled, I go to interface fast00 and I type eigrp authentication here. eigrp authentication will take mode and keychain parameters. For mode, I have MD5 or clear text. I choose the strongest one, so MD5 is better option, and there is nothing here I should enter. And again, I type in eigrp authentication. I hit Ctrl W to delete the words one by one. And now I add keychain. The keychain name is rep, so I type in rep here, and now I have authentication enabled on my interface. Now if I start debugging eigrp, I should see that updates coming from router 2 are not valid anymore because they do not provide authentication for me. So let's see this in action. I should wait at last for 30 seconds because the rep updates are sent every 30 seconds by default. And now I should wait for the update that is coming from router 2. There is no updates from router 2 right now. These are the updates that are coming from router 2. Let's undebug everything using undebug all. You can see that this tells me invalid update authentication. I'm not accepting these these packets because this does not have authentication as I have. So I go to router 2 and I create a keychain here, and I'm naming this rep again. The name is not important, but the key number is, so I type in key number 1, and I'm sure that this key number is the same number that is used on router 1. I hit enter, and I should make sure that key string is exactly what I had typed in before, and I'm making sure that I'm not typing any space after that. So I hit enter. I go to interface fast00 again. I type in eigrp authentication, and the mode is gonna be MD5, and the keychain is gonna be rep. Now that I have this enabled, let's go to router 1 and enable debugging again and see if we can accept updates from this router, and wait for the updates that come from this router. And you can see that I have received packet with MD5 authentication, and now I am accepting the updates that is coming from router 2. So I have enabled rep authentication easily and very simply. So let's go and remove router rep and enable eigrp authentication here. Let's do you all to undebug everything. And again, I go to enable mode, I go to configuration mode, I disable router rep process and enable router eigrp process, for example, AS number 1. I remove the auto summary as the best practice. I add every interface to eigrp process, and that's it. Everything is done here. So I copy all of this and go to every router and paste this to enable eigrp on my topology. Okay, let's see the neighborships that I have right now. To show IP eigrp neighbor will tell me that I am neighbor with router 2 on fast00. Now I'm interested in changing the authentication here. Well, let's see the commands that I have under fast00. And I'm going to remove some of those commands. For example, I'm not going to have this command here. Some of the commands are removed by default, and I'm here to remove this. So no IPOSPF message digest key, it should be this. So I hit enter. No, oh no, this is going to be under fast00. So I type in no IPOSPF message address key and it is gone. Now eigrp, like RIP, uses keychains. So I start to create a keychain again, and you should create a keychain eigrp, for example. The name is eigrp, and anything I create, I name it using capital letters to distinguish it from the keywords that iOS uses. So I again make sure that I'm using the same key number. For example, if I'm going to use key number 12, I should make sure on router 2 I'm going to key number 12 again. So I type in here, and again I am using key string with caution. For example, I'm typing Cisco as my password. So I go to interface fast00, and this time, instead of using IP-RIP authentication, I'm using IP authentication. IP authentication command will tell me that I'm going to mode, and this mode is going to be for eigrp process number 1, and the mode is going to be MD5. Now, I have lost my neighborship because I am using IP authentication here. I hit Ctrl W several times, and now I'm going to use the keychain name again for eigrp process number 1. I'm going to use keychain eigrp, and I hit enter. Let's see the show running config of interface fast00 and copy these two commands. I'm going to use them on router 2 again. In interface fast00, I paste these commands, and now I define the keychain here. Keychain, I have used eigrp as the name, so I use key number 12, and the key string is going to be Cisco, and exactly Cisco. And now you should see that the neighborship is working. So these are the types of authentication that you use on OSPF, RIP, and eigrp, and you can see that there are very simple commands to enable authentication.